The Kenya Association of Manufacturers has initiated investigations against two steel companies. The move coming after a number of steel manufacturers wrote to the association citing preferential treatment of two players. The two are said to have imported raw material worth billions of shillings without paying the requisite taxes. Jimmy Mbogo now follows a trail of the correspondence between manufacturers and the umbrella body, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and paints a picture of an ongoing wrangle among the steel manufacturers.
A correspondence between the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and several steel companies is now exposing the underbelly of the sector and the bitter rivalry among different players. Letters seen by Citizen TV show a thread of mistrust and fierce competition in the sector over the application of Special Operating Framework Agreement SOFA. SOFA is a framework that allows an entity once approved to import a specific quantity of raw materials duty-free. The complaints in our position, however, showing the discontent of some players as to why only two operators would receive the SOFA approval, arguing that it gives those approved an undue advantage against them. And this letter, titled Special Operating Framework Agreement SOFA and dated 10th of July 2024, which is addressed to the Kenya Association of Manufacturers from Zingira Nails and Steel Products, reads, and I quote, "We have been made to understand that SOFA has been granted to one manufacturer in the wire industry. The benefits attained under this framework to the manufacturer has made us very uncompetitive in Kenya and export market. We have been supporting the local producer of wire rod from the time the plant was invented and since the duty and levies were imposed." The letter further reads, and I quote, "If the scenario continues, we will be unable to compete in the market and will have no option but to lay off approximately 250 workers in our wire division and shut down our manufacturing facility." End of quote. Sentiments echoed by a number of other players, including Jumbo Steel Mills Limited, Tononoka Rolling Mills Limited, Devki Steel Mill Limited, Accurate Steel Mills Limited, Tamal Wire Products, among others. This letter from Jumbo Steel Mills dated 5th of July 2024 and addressed to the Chief Executive Officer of CAM, Anthony Mwangi, for instance, laying bare the alleged benefactor of SOFA as Blue Nile Rolling Mills. Reading in part, and I quote, "I wish to bring to your attention that Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited has benefited from a program known as Special Operating Framework Agreement, an allegation that prompted us to reach out to the Kenya Revenue Authority for further clarification. We sought to understand the basis of the year-long exemption handed to both Blue Nile Rolling Mills and Roofing Kenya Limited. KRA, in a response via email, was quick to distance itself from the saga, instead referring us to a Gazette notice by the East Africa community. The Gazette notice now in our possession dated 20th October 2023, showing that indeed the two companies were, and I quote, approved to import wire rod of cross-section measuring less than 8 millimeters, with Blue Nile allowed to import 32,000 metric tons and Roofing Kenya 40,000 metric tons. The approval by EAC is what other players in the steel sector are taking an issue with. 8 steel manufacturers want to know how legal the approval is and particularly how the two manufacturers managed to get the exemption. Sources intimating to Citizen TV that there could have been a clandestine involvement of 2 former cabinet secretaries and 2 principal secretaries. Blue Nile Rolling Mills, in a response to Citizen TV, has dismissed the allegations as fictitious and only aimed at damaging their business reputation. As to the validity of the contract, the company says it has in writing confirmation from the Attorney General's office, arguing that their operation were beyond board and in line with SOFA requirements. And I quote, "To the best of our knowledge, the people who complained are not manufacturers of GI wire and are only trying to damage our brand image, peddling rumors." End of quote. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers now says it is aware of the concerns and will be following due procedure in the determination of the dispute. The question that remains unanswered, however, is whether the exemption was based on merit or dubious dealings. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.